Good morning. Welcome to grade 9 biology class. Today we are going to discuss about the fundamental unit of life. So before starting the chapter, let me ask you a question. For breathing, which gas is most important? Yes, you will say it's oxygen. Similarly, all living organisms are made up of fundamental unit, and that is unit of life called cell. So we all are made up of a small dot which we can't see through a naked eye. That's called cell. So my dear children, that is the fundamental unit of life, and that is what are the components present in the cell. We are going to see that today. Okay, actually the cell is a word derived from Latin. It is called a little room, small room. Okay, so scientist Robert Hooke saw that accidentally when he was investigating something. So in the cork, okay, that is, it's the bark of a tree which exactly resemble like honeycomb. Okay, and hence we describe this word as cell. Okay, and the branch, or we can say that, which deals with cell, we can call it as cell biology. Okay, and in the textbook, my dear children, don't forget, in the textbook there is a picture of microscope, and the first one which you see on the top is eyepiece, then the condenser, objective lens, and all those things are there. So just refer the diagram of the textbook, figure 5.1 of your NCERT textbook. Yes, so actually if you talk about the cell, it has got different size, shape, structure. Okay, in animal cell, if you see, it has got wide different varieties of cells. For example, I'll tell you some names of cells: onion cell, smooth muscle cell, blood cell, bone cell, fat cell, nerve cell, ovum, sperm. All these, if you look, the names that I have said will perform specific function. It has got its own role. Okay, so if we look upon, if we visit nearby pond, we can see that in the pond there will be many minute, small microorganisms. We can see many organisms like amoeba, Chlamydomonas, Paramecium, and even bacteria. Okay, and these organisms which are single-celled, we call them unicellular organism. Okay, but in our case, look at ourselves. Are we composed of a single cell? Yeah, original time when we were originating, it was single cell. Later on, multiplied and formed tissue, then organ system, and finally to an organism like this. If you look upon the components in the cell, the parts of the cell, they will have almost same, every cell has got equal same kind of function. Okay, so let us look into the first component of the cell, that is plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is the outermost covering of a cell, the outermost covering. Okay, and we call it as selectively permeable. What do you mean by selectively? Selectively means it will choose certain materials that has to come in. Okay, so that's why we call it as selectively permeable membrane, or other word we can use partially permeable membrane. So I was telling that the substances allowed into the cell by means of selectively permeable membrane. And my dear children, it happens basically by two processes. One is, diffusion. Another one is osmosis. So let us see what is diffusion. Diffusion means movement of substance from a region of higher concentration where the concentration is more. Any substance which is moving from higher concentration to a lower concentration, we call that as diffusion. Example, exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. What will be more in your body? What is outside? Think. Okay, so that is called diffusion. Okay, always remember the definition goes like this. Movement of substances from high concentration to low concentration is called diffusion. Okay, now let us look the second process, and that is osmosis. Okay, osmosis means movement of water molecules from a region of higher water potential to a region of lower water potential through a semi-permeable membrane. So what is moving in osmosis? Think. What is it? Yeah, you're right. Your thought is right. What you're thinking is right. It is water. So how will you define it? Osmosis is the movement of water from a region of higher water potential to a region of lower water potential through a semi-permeable membrane. Through a semi-permeable membrane. That's called osmosis. Okay? Now, since we are talking about water, since we are discussing about the movement of substances, in chemistry you have learned one lesson in lower grades, if I'm not wrong. Yes? Yeah. Now we are going to discuss about types of solutions. There are three types of solutions. One is hypotonic, second isotonic, and third it is hypertonic. See the spelling? Hyper, H-Y-P-E-R, hyper. Okay, hypertonic solution. So let us see what is it one by one. First one is hypotonic. When the cell gains more water from the surrounding medium, okay, where the water concentration is more, we call it as hypotonic solution. So let me ask you a question. Cell is there, right? It is placed in a solution where the water concentration is more. So what do you understand by this? When you correlate with, what do you understand by this? That is, the cell is going to gain water from the surrounding, and such solution in which more amount of water is there, we call it as hypotonic solution. In 7th standard, let us go to 7th standard chemistry lesson. You have learnt solute, solvent, solution. Solute and solvent make what? Solute and solvent will make what? Solution. Right? Yes. So the first hypotonic solution, I think it's clear, where the concentration of water is more. Okay. Next comes isotonic solution. Here in this solution, the concentration of water will be same as the concentration of a cell when it is placed in. So concentration of water in the cell is same, as well as the concentration in the surrounding medium where we are placing the cell is also same. We call such as isotonic solution. Okay. The third one, hypertonic solution. See, hyper, H-Y-P-E-R, hyper. From the word itself, it is indicating that the water concentration will be less. Such solution we call it as hypertonic solution. Okay. In the textbook in one corner it's written endosmosis, exosmosis. Let me remind that. What is it? Endo. The word endo, entering. Exo, going out. So osmosis means, I have told before, what is that? Osmosis means movement of water from a region of higher water potential to a region of lower water potential through a semi-permeable membrane. So when water is getting into the cell, we call it as endosmosis. When water is going out, we call exosmosis. Yeah. So just now we told that about endosmosis and exosmosis. For example, when a cell engulfs food is called endocytosis. Okay, and it removes, ejects the solid waste. We call it as exocytosis. So my dear children, you will learn in the upcoming classes, even in the 10th, like how an amoeba is going to capture the food, how it is going to engulf it, how it is going to eject it. So all those things, okay. So actually, if I ask you a question now, how amoeba is procuring its food, you will definitely say endocytosis, sir. Yes. How it is removing the waste, excreting it, you will say exocytosis. Yay. That's the point. Okay, that's the point. Now, in the textbook, there is a nice diagram of plant cell. Look into each parts, and when we are having interactive sessions, we will discuss much more one-to-one about that. So I would like you all to draw this diagram in the notebook. Okay. Now let us see the first outer covering wall of a cell, especially in plant cell. In animal cell we told it's plasma membrane. One reminder, don't simply write plasma. If you write plasma, it is wrong. It's plasma means it's a component of blood. So when you write vividly, clearly that plasma membrane. If you write only plasma, no marks will be awarded. Okay, so let us look to the first part of the plant cell, the outer covering called cell wall. Okay, cell wall. Actually, cell wall in plant cell is a rigid outer covering structure. It is composed of cellulose. It is composed of cellulose. Actually, it gives strength to the plant cell. Okay, and when a living cell loses water, you know what happens? The whole cell content will be shrinking away, move away. It will shrink towards, inward. So all these will happen if a cell loses water. And you know what is this phenomenon when the cell content, the cytoplasmic content move away from the cell wall? We call the phenomenon as plasmolysis. What do we call? Plasmolysis. Okay, so this cell wall actually permits the cell of plant cell, fungi and bacteria to withstand with dilute or external medium without bursting. I'll tell you one simple thing. If you put a plant cell in the water, you know what will happen? It will swell up, swell up, swell up because it has the capacity to gain water. But it won't break. What is the reason? Just now what we are discussing, that is the reason. What is that? It has got cell wall. It is a rigid one and it prevents it from bursting. Okay. So there is a diagram. See, you can look this diagram. How a cell is plasmolysed, flaccid, turgid. Flaccid means the condition in which the cytoplasmic content has moved away from the cell wall. Okay. Then turgid means the swollen case, full of water. See, in this you can see to it. Yeah. So I think for today this much is enough, I guess, right? Because we have learned endosmosis, osmosis, diffusion and different types of solutions and about the plant cells and animal cells things, and also we will wind up here for today. In the next class, we will discuss little more detail about the cell inclusions inside the cell. So my dear children, up to where I have taken, please open the textbook and read it. Thank you.